But my question, what I want to ask you about is, I've been watching this the Occupy Wall Street movement, this protest that's been going on for a couple of weeks, and I kind of learned about it maybe a little after it started. It wasn't getting much press coverage, and now it is, and I was reading about it. I came across, an article that said there was a group of Tea Party protesters that went down to protest against the protest. And they were saying, you commies trying to stop business and all this stuff. And I was like kind of dumbfounded and flabbergasted because, I'm a fan of yours. I'm a supporter of Ron Paul. I've read my Rothbard and my Hayek, and I think I have a good idea as much as anyone of what's going on. And I kind of thought that the Tea Party started around a similar libertarian ideology and basis, and I know it's been co-opted by Fox News and by mainstream Republicans and Bachman and all these crazy people. But the true Tea Party people in America, the true libertarians, I'm wondering they should really be embracing this Occupy Wall Street movement. And while there's
it depends on how you want to look at it, because I think a lot of people will look at this, Occupy Wall Street as not just, an attack on Wall Street, that Wall Street is simply symbolic of an attack on capitalism, an attack on entrepreneurialism and that aspect of America, which is wrong. The problem is Wall Street is giving capitalism a bad name, but I think a lot of the protests aimed at Wall Street are really aimed at capitalism, and just Wall Street is the symbol, or they believe to be the symbol of capitalism, and in fact, it's the symbol of the opposite. It's the symbol of crony capitalism today, of corporatism, of fascism. I mean, that's was my beef with Michael Moore, who refuses to come on my show. But I noticed that he recently is talking about how, hey, capitalism has to end. We have to get rid of capitalism. That's not what we have to get rid of. We have to get rid of all the government intervention in capitalism. We need to go back to capitalism. And Wall Street right now is a big part of that. So while I have sympathy with the protest movement, I think a lot of the protesters don't really know why they're protesting it. I don't know that their protests are in line with what you and I are thinking. Maybe that's true for some of them, but I think most of them have a much bigger agenda in mind rather than just the bailouts. I think it's a more deep-seated distrust or dislike of the free market capitalist system, and they want a more government-controlled system. They don't realize that that's what we've got now. That's why it's not working. I'm going to take a call from Chris, who's here in Manhattan. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Peter. Got a comment question about the student loan debt. I'm in New York, and I'm watching these the Wall Street protests, and a lot of it is students complaining about the student debt. And, there's some proposals, I think, made by a congressman out in Michigan. He wants to basically forgive student debt as a means of a economic stimulus. What's your position on that? And what would that do to the cost of college?
Well, first of all, if the students shouldn't be protesting Wall Street, if they're upset about the debt, they should be protesting Congress. They should be protesting the government that guaranteed all those debts, because without government guarantees, they wouldn't be in this mess, because they couldn't have borrowed the money. And what would have happened was that college tuitions would have come down to the point where they could afford them without the borrowed money. So the reason that students are struggling with high debt levels is the unintended consequences of government policy trying to help the students. And that's why, the most dangerous words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. So the students should be outraged, but they're directing their outrage in the wrong place. Now, as far as do I support forgiving student loans, look, I've got sympathy to the fact that our kids are struggling with a lot of debt that they shouldn't have. But we can't simply forgive the debt because, number one, what about the cost? I mean, students owe about $1 trillion. So how are we going to pay for forgiving all this student debt, number one? Number two, what about the moral hazard that it sends? Hey, if we forgive the debt of the students today, well, that means we're going to forgive the debt of the students in the future, which means students will be even more likely to run up even bigger debts, basically waiting for their bailout. So that is going to cause college tuition prices to rise even faster. I can even see the colleges advertising, hey, don't worry about how much you borrow. The government will probably forgive it anyway in the next stimulus, so we certainly can't do that.